Welcome to the mandolin contact instrument. As we see here, we have the green keys, which are the key switch for the frets, changing of the frets on the mandolin. And we have the red key switch to change the articulation between long note, half a step slide, and mute. So every note that we're going to play on the blue string will be determined by the green, which is the frets, and by the red, which are the articulation. That way we can choose every single note that we want to play on any string. We have also, instead of the 6 frets, we have individual strings. So you can choose which string do you want to play and what articulation. The way we work with the frets is we know that every string, before it passes to the next string, will play 4 notes, which is 6 half steps. Let's see the notes. As we can see here, if we will play the E, which is the bass on the mandolin, we will play all the way to A before it will go to the next string. So E, F, G, G sharp will be played on the E string. The A will be played on the A string if we're playing on open strings, which is here. Now, if we want to play, let's say, this B on the E string, we need at least to start from G. The G will play until it reaches C, because the C needs to be on the next string. So G, A, B will play on the E string, and the C, D, E will play on the A string. The F will play on the D string, F, G, A, and the A sharp will play on the G string all the way up. So we can choose what note we want to play by knowing on what frets do we want to play it. This helps us establish the chords that we want. We will talk about it with the help of a program that will help us understand it. But so far, you can choose individual strings with the preset of the individual strings, and then you will decide what note you are going to play and what string you want to play. Or you can choose the frets and the notes that are being played. You will go about it in another way. You will write the notes, and then you will choose the frets that the melody will sound the best in it. Sometimes you will have to change the frets in order to keep the melody sounding good. And sometimes you will leave it on that fret and everything will work out. We can see here the line that is being played. I will mute all those so they will not interfere. This is the line that we heard. As we can see, I didn't choose any string, so it will automatically be on the open string. This is the melody. Now, as for the chords will be a little bit difficult to explain because of the Pro Tools behavior. There is a free program that I've used to give you the ability to remember the chords very easily. The program is called MIDI chords. It will generate the chords for us for the mandolin. Here I chose the G scale, and we can see if I will select the C, C will give us the chords for the G, because we are on a G scale. And the D will give us the second chord, the E will give us the third chord, the F will give us the fourth, the G will give us the fifth, the A will give us the sixth. So we have chord number 1, chord number 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And for strum, I also did a duplicate for it on first available key. Sometimes it will be below, sometimes it will be above. So the C and B will have the same chords. The D and D flat will have the same chords, E, E flat, and F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A, and A sharp. Those are the pairs. But if you can see here, the C is up and the B is down. If we will play the strum, then let's go to the 100. It will strum the chords for us with 100 milliseconds of time. So it will start the strum and it will end the strum, which is this one. It will end it after 100 milliseconds. And it will give us the sound of a guitar or of a mandolin. Or you can choose just to have the chords without the strum, and it will print the chords for us. Let's see how to work with it. The MIDI chord needs to send the MIDI to the contact instrument. As we can see, we have 3 channels that is labeled in red. Those work together. This is the MIDI chord from here, and this is the contact instrument of the mandolin. But Pro Tools, not like any DAWs like Cubase or Logic, doesn't allow us to send directly the MIDI notes from one plugin to another. So what we need to do is have a MIDI link or channel between those two, that it will receive the notes from the MIDI chords and it will send the notes to the contact instruments that we want. So if we will enable this one in record, the signal from the MIDI chords will go in here through the Meta plugin and go to the mandolin. So we need this in order to play the chords on the mandolin. And if we will strum C, it will give us a chord on the mandolin. Let's hear it. So this is the 6th chord and this is the 1. And we can see it from here. This is the 1. It plays all those notes. This note is the one that determines the frets. So the C will play this chord with the appropriate frets. Sometimes on different keys, let's say if we would choose something that is definitely do not play on open strings, if we play this one, the frets, as we can see, will be fret number 2. This is open, 1, and then 2. So this chord will be played on fret number 2. So let's go back to the G, because this is the scale. This is our scale on the G. So this is the 1st, and this is the 6th, and this is the 5, and this is the 1. And if we will write the notes, as we can see here, I've written the note for down and up, down and up. As we saw, C and B, C was up, B was down, D was up, D flat was down. And here F was up, F sharp was down, G up, G sharp down, A up, A sharp down. So all the blacks are down, and also the B, and all the whites are up. And if we will play that, as we can see, I try to play the notes here slow, and here I play them fast. Here I'm only using upstrokes, and here I'm using downstrokes with it. I did those long ones to show that there is a way to play the notes arpeggiated. If we will select the strum, and let's say we'll decide that we want to play it on 2000 milliseconds, because we are on 120. 120 is every bit is half a second. So we can go from 0.5 to 1 to 2. Now we are on 2 seconds. And if we will go to that part and play it, we will hear that this will strum lightly going down, this one going up, this one going down, and this one going up. So we can use it to strum the chords with the pattern, with the slow pattern. And you can see down, up, down, up, down, up. Or we can use it to not strum the chords and play it, and then we can choose to arpeggiate it as we would like to do it. Because the problem is we need to remember where the notes are on the mandolin. This chord, this MIDI chord generator helps us determine the spacing of the chords, because I already did it for us. So we need to just export it as chords and then change it to the arpeggiated figure that we want. So let's see. I will move that for now. And let's record it. Now I will record it here to this MIDI link, and then I will move it down to the mandolin. Let's record. Now I'm not strumming. And now that we know the spacing of the chord, we can choose to arpeggiate it by moving it around. Let's say we know this one's supposed to be here, and those ones are here, and we need to mute this link so it will not play together. And let's hear it. So now that we know how the chord is built, we can choose to articulate it the way we want. This program helps us to write the code faster, and instead of remembering how the spacing needs to be. But if you know the spacing, you don't need this MIDI code generator. It will help us also if we want to strum. Let's see it. Let's delete this. Go into that, and I think all of that needs to be an E. All of that needs to be an E. And this needs to be a G. I don't know about that, but let's say it's also a G for now. Can't remember the song. And now let's record it to the MIDI link. So we will enable the MIDI link and we'll record. But remember, we are on strum. That means it will play 100 milliseconds with the strumming that we chose. Let's see it. Now, if we will look at the notes, we will see that the strum is not coming, the notes are not coming on the same place. Let's shorten that a little bit so we can see it clearly. We can see that the notes are delayed 100 milliseconds. This is why it sounds a strum and not a piano. Now, this will be very long and tedious work for us to do that and write the notes and then shorten those and then shorten those, and it's a lot of work. So this MIDI chord generator helps us do the strum very fast. So we only need to choose the chord by the degree, the first, second, third, fourth, 5 or 6 degree. The 7th I didn't put, so we only have between 1 and 6. And the next C is the 7th chord. This is 1, 3, and 5, and this is 1, 3, and 5, and 7, between C and this B, so that A. So we have on G scale, we have G7, G major 7, A minor 7, B minor 7, and etc. So, and here we have G, A, AM, BM, C, D, D7. The D has to be 7 here. So we can use that MIDI chord to help us write the note faster, especially on strum. And this is what I did. I've written the chord and recorded it, as we can see here. And we can hear it here on the audio because I changed a lot for this presentation. This is the output, the finished output of the chords. Now, if we want to see how it looks like on the chords, but the only problem that I have with it is if I'm going to the view, it will erase the key switch because the key switch is not in the range of the mandolin. So once I'm going to the view, it will erase it. But just for us to view it, what the MIDI chords is doing, I will neglect this one for now, but do not save the preset if you are looking on the view. So let's take the G again. We can see it's lowered in octave because this sends the MIDI chords not exactly as it should be in the contact. So if we want to send it exactly to the contact, you need to transpose it by 12 or choose the preset of the octave higher here. So, but for us just to see what it's doing, I will not transpose. We will only see the chords. We will hear the audio, but we will see the chords. This is the audio. Let's see it from here. The chords that are being played is here. This is the trigger, but this is the output of the MIDI that I've recorded. So let's see the chord. If we are going to the view and push play, those are the chords that are being played on the mandolin with the strum. This is the right spacing that we need to have in order for the mandolin to sound like a mandolin. Now, if we want to change the scale, it's only a matter of changing this one. So let's destroy everything. Hopefully it will be okay. I will not save because everything will be lost. So let's say I want to change it to C. All I need to do is go to the generator, which is the notes that we chose. As we remember, this is the 1, and this is the 1, this is the 6, and this is the 5. And this is it. We are on C scale, and let's hear it. So because we are playing on the contact, I need to transpose it by 12 in order to hear the contact. So let's hear it. And if we want it in another scale, let's say on B, and if we want it on D, on E, and go back to G. And you only need to remember that the 1 is on C, the 2 is on D, 3, 4, 5, 6 degree of the chords, and that's it. You can change the scale so fast. Hope you will like it. Let's hear the music again.